Hello, good morning. Welcome. It's much earlier than what I'm used to right now recording this podcast. So forgive me, I haven't had any coffee or anything at all today. But we're here, we're happy, we're awake, and we don't have any makeup on, but that's okay. Welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. Follow us on Instagram at I Feel Fat Today. And follow me, your host, at Hello, This is Kelly. And go to I Feel Fat Today on YouTube and subscribe to us there. That's where you can catch full video episodes like this very one. And after you do that, after you subscribe on YouTube, go over to Apple and leave a 5-star review. That's all I ask. And those are all free things to do. Thank you. Oh my goodness gracious. We're back with a solo episode. I wanted to have a little check-in, a little one-on-one, because we had a few things going on. So I don't know how long this episode will be, but we're going to get through a lot of cool topics. Okay. I am back after a vacation of sorts. Definitely a vacation from my day job. I took a good few days from there, came back to an absolute just monstrosity of emails, which is part of the reason why I'm recording this at 7:30 in the morning, because girls running low on time. And so, I'm trying to fit things in where I can. But yeah, I'm back. I went on a cruise. And I don't know how I feel about myself when I say that. People I met on the cruise, amazing. Some of the coolest people I've ever met. So, completely non-judgmental and just kind. Not a single asshole, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. But I went on this cruise. My little brother, Billy, who was on a few episodes ago, he graduated college, which was a major feat for him. He didn't take the typical 4-year path, blah, blah, blah. He didn't want to do it, but he did it. Major feat. And so for a graduation present, I got him tickets on the Bert Kreischer fully loaded cruise. And he went for the excitement. I feel like I was going for the case study and also to have fun. Please, who am I to be above a fun party cruise? There was drinking, there was eating, there were fun activities and things. So it was great. It was really, really fun. But boy, am I glad to be back. Oh gosh. So I don't want to say that the funnest time I had was at the bar crawl before the cruise, the night before the cruise. But honestly, I was I was in my element. I was in Miami. I, was on land. I could walk away to a place far, far away if I needed to. So it was all that to say is I found it to be unnerving being on a boat in the middle of the ocean. And the boat is massive, but we were on one of the smaller boats of the Norwegian fleet. And I found that a little unnerving. I was like, but we're so small compared to this ocean. What if something it's hurricane season. So I was bugging because of that. But the boat was gone from, we set sail on Friday and we returned very early Tuesday morning. We were off the boat by 9 a.m. to which the boat did claim my AirPods because I was so delirious in the morning. I saw them on the white little side table and I was like, I'm going to forget those. Don't forget those. And I forgot them. But we'll see if my lovely Captain Steward sends them back to me. But I bought new ones. So I went to the airport and I bought whatever headphones you can get there for $40, not cheap. And I can't do it. They worked fine, but they're just not the ease of AirPods. I'm a elitist prick, but I like what I like. Okay, so some of my hesitations going into the cruise was the body, my whole body. I was like, God damn, I'm gonna have to be in bathing suits and you can't, you look weird if you're wearing a jacket and you don't want to wear a jacket. It's hot as balls, we're setting sail to the Bahamas. It's hot out there. And so, I'm like, all right, I just got to get cover-ups and wear bathing suits. I realized everything I brought with me was black, which is fine. That's a look. But some of what I was wearing, I was having these thoughts of like, I'm oscillating between, I'm trying to like go to a funeral and, I am doing that pathetic thing where a fat person is trying to cover up their body near a body of water. And I didn't like that feeling at all. And I was very in my head about it. But then I stopped and I looked around and I was like, oh, I'm the only one here that cares about this. Because there were people of all shapes and sizes. And I was on the smaller end, not to body check, but I was on the smaller end of what a body could look like on that boat. Compared to women, compared to men, I mean, I was batting out of my league, wrestling out of my weight if I'm trying to keep up with the guys on that boat. I mean, not a ab to be seen, which is great. And I love that. Oh, it was comforting. Yeah, so that was good. I mean, look, I'm not saying go on a cruise to surround yourself with other fat people to feel better about yourself, but it helped. I'm going to be fucking honest. I was able to sit at the buffet and sit and eat and not, think like, oh, everyone's looking at me eat. It's like, no, everyone's just worried about their own thing that they got going on. So as far as body image, I think in the beginning I was nervous, and by the end of it, I was like walking around naked. So it's fine. For entertainment, I brought with me the Julia Fox book, Down the Drain, I believe it's called. So good. I'm almost done. I thought I would finish it on the boat, but I can't read. So, I did not finish it, but it is a really, really good book. I highly recommend. She's very interesting and has led an insane life. And I'll tell you, I had so much anxiety on the boat. I think all the drinking was bad for my mental. But I had so much anxiety on that goddamn boat. And I'm reading Julia Fox's book, and she's talking about something crazy happening in her life, and I'm having anxiety reading about her life, and I'm like, I'll take the book anxiety. Like, I want to have this, at least no matter how bad I feel right now with like feeling like my heart's going to jump out of my chest on this boat, at least I'm not dealing with, the fact that I'm on the run from the police. Like, it's a good book. I highly recommend. Okay. That's as far as entertainment goes. I'm glad I brought a book because the ship did not have free Wi-Fi. And here's the thing. In hindsight, I wish I had figured it out where I could have just figured out how to pay the $250 for Wi-Fi. It's not that I don't have it now, but at the time I didn't have it. I'm not going to go into it. But I was like, okay, no Wi-Fi. That's fine. Like, I don't need Wi-Fi. Billy, he's good at making friends. If he wants, find out the score of the baseball game or whatever, he can talk to people. Looking back, I feel so bad for not getting the Wi-Fi because it's like, yeah, he probably had fun, but like, could he have had more fun if he had access to some goddamn Wi-Fi? And could my anxiety have been calmed if I, had access to the outside world? But you don't know if the Wi-Fi is going to work on the boat. I'm not going to get into it, but the Wi-Fi thing was another thing that fueled my anxiety. And the cherry on top, the thing that really made me almost like have a mental break was the fact that this was a comedy cruise. There were comedians all over the place. One of the comics is a husband, a friend of the show, May Planert, Mark Normand. And he asked me to open for him for one of his last sets on the boat. And I didn't have a way for him to communicate that to me. And so I missed my opportunity to do that. And that, upset me. That sucked. But, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I didn't get to open for Mark in like killer rooms where people were just like there to laugh. It was just a total kill box. It is what it is. What can I do? Who's to say I won't get another chance sometime soon? I don't know. But they did have an open mic on the boat the next day, which is like a very funny comparison. But they had an open mic because that wasn't planned. It just was something that they kind of threw together because the weather was so bad. Boy, was that boat rocking. The weather was so bad. All of the days, but one of the days that we couldn't port into one of the islands that we were supposed to. So they just, kept us out at sea and gave us a lot of different activities to do. And one of them was an open mic, and that was a lot of fun. I got to perform in this place called the Atrium that had, I'm bad at guessing people, like the amount of people in a space, but I would say probably around 200 people. And, everyone going up kind of was like, oh, I dabble in comedy. I kind of do comedy. There were a few like legit like comics, not like build on the cruise, but like, people that do comedy in different cities, that went up and had an okay set, but I crushed. It's 3 minutes. It's not a big deal, but I'm thinking about maybe like, I only have the voice recording of it, and I'm thinking about maybe putting some like animation to it and putting it out online, because it's some of the material I can never use again because it's like specific to the cruise I was on. But I also did only 3 minutes of material that I wrote on that goddamn boat. And I think it's because I didn't have Wi-Fi. It's amazing. When you don't have access to the internet, you write comedy. And I've been using some of the cruise material out in the world that is relevant to other people, not just the people on that specific Bert Kreischer cruise. And it's going well. So, I mean, that's a plus. That's a plus there. But the anxiety I experienced on that goddamn boat, I haven't wished for a Xanax in many, many moons. Like, it's been a long time since I've been like, I really need a Xanax. But on that boat, and especially like getting off the boat, I was like, I'm fucking, does anyone have any kava? I need some kava. I'm dying. No, I just had this anxiety. And one of my major anxieties was somebody, namely, my little brother Billy, going overboard at some point. You're having fun, you're drunk, whatever. Somehow you go overboard. You go overboard off that boat in the middle of the ocean. They'll try to do a search and rescue effort, but you're not. If it's like a beautiful day with no current and you go overboard, they might be able to find you. But oh God, the thought of someone going overboard really plagued me. It gave me a lot of anxiety, and I felt it like in my bones, in my gut. Like it was, in my mind, it was like a guarantee that somebody on this boat was going to go overboard, and that would have fundamentally changed me as a person, because everyone was so nice. I didn't meet a single jerk, and I just was like so scared that something was going to happen. But nothing happened. And so I'm like, okay, crazy anxiety brain. You catastrophized the situation. You were so certain that this was going to happen, like so certain, and nothing happened. Maybe take that as a lesson. Well, it turns out, folks, I am the world's most useless psychic in the world, because the cruise that went out right after us, I think it was the Headbangers Ball cruise. It's like a metal cruise. Someone went overboard. Fears justified. New anxiety unlocked. I'm telling you, I read that. I was at work Monday morning. I read that and I was like, I have the most useless gift ever. I was so sure someone was going to go overboard. I just thought it was going to be on my boat. It turns out it was on the same boat, but the cruise that went out after us, whole new people on a under a different theme, metal music. So that was that. Would I recommend going on a cruise? If you don't go on one that's longer than Friday morning to like Monday night, Tuesday morning. Don't go on one longer than that. Don't do it. But Norwegian Pearl, the food was good. The drinks were great. The people were awesome. I would say go if you have the ability to not have massive anxiety over like the fact that we're like in the middle of the ocean. Like there would be times where I just need to take a lap, and I literally would just go down to one of the decks where you can fully circle the boat, and I would just circle the boat to try to like work out this anxiety. And I would look over the edge of the boat, especially if you went to the very back of the boat. You could see the water like whooshing away from the boat. And I just looked and I was like, do I want to hit the reset button? Like I don't have, any ideations, but it's just like, it could just, do I want to relearn the lessons? It's just cold, black, rebirth, depending on what you believe. But I don't know. That was crazy. That was a mind fuck. And yeah. I don't know. They're fun. Okay. And then something I talked about at the very beginning of last week's episode in my short little intro was the fact that I was self-tanning myself because I was on my way to go to a wedding. I was going to a wedding and I was very insecure about my arms. I found this really cute Betsy Johnson dress online and was like, this is not like something I really ever wear. I always have my arms covered to some degree, and here we're just like out and about and like the back is open, and it was like, okay, well, I like the dress. I like the look of the dress, but I'm kind of doing immersion therapy, like going out there with like my arms and stuff. And, I tanned them up. I got to say, I like the final look of the dress. I still was a little bit self-conscious, but what could I do at that point? I'm at the wedding. So many compliments on that dress. So many compliments. People were like, you look beautiful. This dress is amazing. And maybe they thought my arms were fat, but no one said anything to me about it. And I have to say that, like, despite it all, I really did feel good and happy in it. So I don't know, if you're self-conscious about an area of your body, just fake tan it. Because no, I did not get tan enough on the cruise. Okay. I don't know. I've lost my ability to tan. I either have to burn severely and then it kind of turns into a tan, or I just have to protect myself with SPF and stay pasty. So L'Oreal self-tan, it was like $13 for the little thing, and it's actually this one. L'Oreal Sublime Bronze. Highly recommend. I only used half of it, and I tanned my whole body. So you get 2-3 uses out of this, depending on, who you are and how much you use. All right. And then after that, so Tuesday, okay, let me get my head straight on this. Thursday, flew down to Florida for the cruise. Tuesday, flew home from the cruise from Florida, from Miami to New York City. That was Tuesday. Thursday, had my friend's wedding in New Jersey. 7 a.m. Friday, the day after the wedding, fly back down to Florida to do some comedy shows, a comedy show. For the weekend. We did St. Pete and Boca, and then fly back home on Sunday to my, reality, to my life. And the shows in Florida were really fun. It was myself and, again, friend of the show, May Planert. We went down there and we did some shows, and it was great. We both got to see some old friends. And yeah. Something that I noticed about myself was how not normal my eating habits are. And boy, is that exemplified when you are hanging out one-on-one for an extended period of time with a friend that has a much different relationship with food than you. Like, we would get something to eat and she would get one thing. And it's like, what do you mean you get one thing? Which sounds crazy, but like normally it just, I'm not commenting on her, food habits and if she's, normal or not. Definitely more normal than mine, I would say. But I would say as far as binging, it's so crazy, like when you're being held accountable, like how much I had to go against my instincts. Like we went to Wawa after the show one night and she got one sandwich and she got like a bottle of water. And I'm like, wait, but you don't want chips? You don't want... Of course I got chips. We ended up, splitting those chips. But, it was... It definitely highlighted how at the end of a long day when I am starving, so hungry, how I could have just like gotten, okay, we're going to get a sandwich, we're going to get chips, we're going to get a little bit of fruit, we're going to get something sweet, like we're going to get like a fun drink and a water. Like I just would have probably spent like $20 on food when it's like, no, just get the sandwich and get, something to drink and, maybe throw in some chips, because how do you have a sandwich without chips? But anyway, so that was fun. And yeah, so I'm running on empty, but we're here. I have an article that we are going to look at together. First I have a TikTok I want to look at that I want to discuss, and then we have an article, and then we're done. And then, you're free to go. Do whatever you want to do. No. Okay, so the TikTok. So this is a TikTok I came across, because boy, have I been binging on TikTok ever since I got back. But this is a TikTok by this woman, Nadia. Yes, Nadia. The link will be in the bio. Description, I mean. Where she posted about being a woman and weighing 200 pounds. And I kind of talked about this last week with Christy about how the way we looked has never matched the number on the scale. The number on the scale has always been way higher than what we looked like and felt like, but it was just weird compared to the way that people talk about weight and how, if we're over 200 pounds, then we should feel like we are, breaking chairs. So I wanted to look at this. Okay.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is being a woman and weighing 200 pounds. I don't know if it's just me or society in general. I feel like when people picture like a woman, especially who's 200 pounds, it's like earthquake when she walks or something. They picture something very different than what it is. I feel like so often I get comments where I post like day whatever of working out until I get under 200 pounds and somebody posts, is the 200 pounds in the room with us, which I think is hilarious. But like, I am 200 pounds.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like people, like this is something that we all experience, like working out to get under 200 pounds and people on the internet being like, you don't look like you weigh 200 pounds.
I'm actually not 200 pounds. I'm like 203 pounds. But people have been saying this since I was 230 pounds, 250 pounds. Everybody thinks, I think everyone has an unreasonable expectation of what 200 pounds is. And for so long, I was so embarrassed. When I posted my first video where I mentioned my weight, I was so nervous. And the response that I got, like so many girls are just like me. We're on the same journey. And just us as women, like we carry weight differently than men. For example, certain people, you can carry it in your chest, hips, your butt, your thighs. Like our bodies are so different from men's. And sometimes I think we don't realize like that based on our proportions, like 200 pounds is a very healthy weight for some people. And am I at my goal weight yet? No. And would I like to be under 200? Of course. But I just think that I just want to pause it right there.
Her talking about how kind of normal, maybe, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, normal it is to be under 200 pounds. and I'm not trying to call this woman out, but you know, am I under 200 pounds? No. Do I want to be? Of course. And it's just like, can't we give ourselves a break? Like, you can't really tell in this video because she's sitting down, but this is just a very healthy looking, she's probably a size 8 to size 10 woman, and you know, still fighting that battle to be under 200 pounds.
It's kind of crazy how 200 is just this number that sounds so shocking when it isn't. It's bringing me back to when I was, I don't know, a kid or a preteen, I don't know when, where I got so embarrassed that I was weighing more than 100 pounds. And it just seems like as we grow up, there's just like another number that is like, not life or death, but that upsets us so much. And I just want to let you know, like, just because you're 200 pounds doesn't mean you're not healthy, doesn't mean you're not worthy of going to the gym. It does not mean that you're too far gone, that all you have to do is sit. Like, it's just a number. Most important thing is that you're moving your body, that you feel good. And yeah, I don't know if this makes any sense. I just started thinking today, like, why is 200 pounds like so crazy when it's not? Thanks for being here for my little rant. I don't know, it just came to me and I thought, why not record it? Okay, bye. Love you guys.
She's a cutie. Yeah, so link to that original video is in the description. That video, that like what she's talking about, like, why is it weird? Why is it bad to be over 200 pounds? Like, if you're moving and you're healthy and you feel good, that you still look hot. Like as far as like traditional beauty standards, you still, like, you're not trying to like do like a you know, fat is beautiful moment with being someone that's, say, like 5'8", over 200 pounds. You know, you in fact are probably more to like the standard that men like, because, you know, you have like hips and proportional to your body. But this whole video that we just looked at, like, that's part of the reason why in the first iteration of I Feel Fat Today, when it was just episodes just like this, where I would, you know, sit in front of my computer and talk, I would state my weight at the top of each episode. I did that for a few reasons, but one of them was to say, like, this is just a number. This is just a number. And it was my way of trying to take the power back. I hate that, but it was my way to try to take the power back on that number that was on the scale that had ruled my life. Only to find out that it was really bad for me mentally to be doing that, because I thought like I was doing something empowering, but really it was just beating my psyche down, and I was feeling really, really bad about myself and really exposed. And it's part of the reason why I just stopped one of the best podcasts to be ever created. I Feel Fat Today is the best podcast that no one listens to. Okay, so that was that. I would love to know your thoughts. Like, what do you feel about what this woman is saying, of like feeling bad for just simply being over 200 pounds? Like, just that in and of itself, existing as a person, something that you should feel bad about. I don't know. Okay, so that was that. And I want to quickly look at, I need to do an entire updated episode on BMI, but I know part of the reason why, you know, being over 200 pounds is something that is so upsetting is because if you were to go to the doctor, they would tell you that your BMI is too high, and that puts you in the overweight to obese category. So like if you are 5'8" and 200 pounds, your BMI is at 30.4, which is the weight status of obesity. So medically, we're being told that we're obese, even if you don't look obese. So yeah, we'll talk about BMI in an episode soon. I would like to have maybe a BMI expert or like a doctor on about it. I got to email people. Okay. All right. Our article for this week. We're about 30 minutes in. Our article for this week, I came across this and I was like, we got to talk about it on I Feel Fat today. It is yet another article on Ozempic, but this isn't about side effects or, the fact that it's positively impacting airline industries. This article from USA Today is about the possibility of children going on Ozempic. And I don't know how I feel about it in the grand scheme of things. I know that right now on face value, I am against it. I am so against this. This just feels I have a joke about, walking into a Weight Watchers meeting when I was 12, and that upsets audiences enough before I get to the punchline that I cannot imagine being a kid and I can't imagine sticking a child with needles in an effort to remove their appetite as a way to control their weight. That, knowing not enough on this topic, is really upsetting to me, and I am against it. Why don't we put our dogs on it next? Okay, so we're gonna read it. This is from USA Today. It came out October 24th of this year, so still recent enough, less than a month. Let's get into it. Okay. Ozempic for kids. Pharma manufacturers test weight loss drugs for children as young as 6 years old. The blockbuster weight loss sensation that has taken the industry by storm may soon be available for kids as young as 6. The manufacturers of Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro, the injectables that are racking in hundreds of millions of dollars, are showing remarkable weight loss benefits. After showing remarkable weight loss benefits, have reported intentions of begin marketing the drugs to children between ages 6 and 11 or 12. Okay, I just got to pause right here. I would have begged my mom to go on these. Any one of those 6 and beyond, I would have begged my mom, please, let me go on this. And guess what? My BMI would have allowed it. Even though if you look at photos, I was just a cute little kid. Both companies are in different phases of assessing the safety and efficacy of the drugs for the treatment of pediatric obesity. While adults continue to flock to pharmacies to snag the now hard-to-find products in the meantime. That's another thing. Right now, they are hard to find. There are still people with diabetes, with type 2, that need the drug for not weight loss intentions. Again, I am not... If you are an adult and you are on Ozempic and you don't have diabetes, I'm not saying you're a bad person, but now we're trying to shove it down kids' throats. Like, there are people that need it for the original intended use, which is a life-saving drug. Okay. While simply targeting the number on the scale is far from a complete solution to the underlying issues causing higher rates of weight and nutritional concerns in American youth, pharmaceutical companies Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are looking to add another potential option to toolboxes, hoping to address the issue. I hate the way that sentence is formulated because, you want to add another tool to the toolbox? Or do you want to make some goddamn money? Yeah, I'm sure the Sacklers wanted to add a tool in the toolbox of pain management. God. According to the CDC, children and adolescents ages 2 to 19 had a 17.7% obesity rate in the years 2017 to 2020, affecting 14.7 million children and adolescents. While the qualifying factors for an obesity diagnosis, such as BMI, are debated in the medical community, data consistently shows that socioeconomic status and food insecurity directly relate to the rates of obesity in American youth. In 2019 to 2020 alone, 10.8% of children ages 0 to 17 years lived in households that experience food insecurity. Sounds like that there could be a potential solution to the childhood obesity epidemic we seem to be facing. Maybe, why don't we solve food insecurity? maybe let's change the fact that the only place to get a meal within a 10-mile radius of a kid's house is to not just have it be a McDonald's. Maybe we don't just put Whole Foods in socioeconomically rich areas. Oh no, instead of giving people the option to eat healthy, let's just stick them with the needle so that they don't want to eat it all. Great. Love that. Manufacturers of Ozempic, what am I talking about? Okay. Pharmaceutical companies, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, producers of Mounjaro and Ozempic Wegovy, respectively. Also, just so you know, Ozempic and Wegovy, same company. Ozempic, they're just trying to be like, oh, this is the diabetes medication. Wegovy, straight for weight loss. Respectively are both testing weight loss products for the use in kids ages 6 and up, Bloomberg first reported. Eli Lilly is in the first phase of testing, studying kids ages 6 to 11 with a trial of 30 patients given Mounjaro and monitored over the course of 13 weeks. Oh God, I feel bad for those 13 kids. I feel in my bones that I'm against this. Novo Nordisk has been in the testing phase for 2 years and is now in phase 3, having given drug Saxenda, a less potent version of Wegovy, to children with obesity ages 6 to 12 years old in a relatively small trial of less than 100 participants. The trial also included advice on healthy eating and staying active given by pediatricians to participants. Okay. Oh, man. They included the thing about healthy eating and staying active. That feels like a cover your ass situation. Here's the thing. So many of my friends that are on these drugs and so many of the people that I don't know that just report the side effects, they're miserable. I have friends who feel so happy now that they are a certain size that have gone off of Ozempic because they're like, I can't do the side effects anymore. And by the way, they're gaining the weight back. Admittedly, this is not me projecting on them. Like they're telling me, like, I went off of it 2 months. Now I'm back to my starting weight. Like, they're just trying to make money off of us. They're capitalizing on your insecurity, and they are starting young. Please don't put your children on this. Okay, let's see here. Pharmaceutical, nope. Okay, sorry. Got a little off track. So mad I can't see straight. Okay, what are the GLP-1 shots? Popular drugs known by name brands, including Ozempic and Wegovy, were originally formulated and prescribed for the treatment of diabetes. Ozempic and similar drugs mimic the hormone GLP-1, which helps the pancreas release insulin. These medications work by sending signals to the appetite center of the brain, reducing feelings of hunger and increasing feelings of fullness. So that's how the drug works, Okay, so the pancreas is releasing insulin to tell the brain, hey, we're not hungry. Bitches better start being into short men, I'll tell you that. Because kids are not going to grow if their brains aren't telling them to eat. While drugs such as Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro can help users lose 15% to 20% of their body weight on average, the medical community is still exploring the long-term implications and efficacy. Yeah, we're still exploring that. Let's throw it on the kids. The drugs need to be used continually to maintain effectiveness, and most people end up regaining a good portion of the weight loss after discontinuing the treatment. This yo-yoing can have long-term effects on overall health. The more potentially dangerous symptoms also plague users, including an increased risk of thyroid cancer, acute pancreatitis, stomach paralysis, we talked about that, gallbladder disease, low blood sugar, kidney injuries, damaging to the eye's retina, and suicidal thinking or behavior. Yeah, because you're not eating. You are literally suicidal. More common side effects include things like nausea, diarrhea, and constipation. Using these drugs for weight loss has become so popular internationally that supply issues have arisen from the massive demand impacting people who use the medications to manage diabetes. Belgium recently announced plans to temporarily ban the use of Ozempic for weight loss in order to preserve the limited supply for diabetics, while officials in the UK and EU have begun warning against circulating knockoff treatments that pose a serious health risk. Wowzers. Okay, so the link to this article will be in the show notes so you can check it out there for yourself. Oh man, I don't feel, oh God, that makes me feel bad across my entire being. I don't like that. Ozempic for kids. Also, okay, so another thing that I thought about while reading this is that these drugs are expensive. So a lot of times, even if you have insurance, it's hard to get your hand on these drugs. Never mind the fact that there is literal supply chain issues where there's like you physically might not be able to get your hands on it. Even with insurance, it can be incredibly expensive. So how is this going to how is this going to help solve the issue of food insecurity in areas when those same areas are going to be filled with kids that have families that can't afford it? So now for rich people, we're just going to have skinnier, hotter kids when they probably already do. Okay? Like there are so many reasons, and someone much smarter than me can pontificate on this. There are so many reasons why kids in poorer areas would skew more obese than kids in rich areas. Okay, this isn't Marie Antoinette era. All right, where the fat people are the rich ones. It's flipped. We know this. So now we want to start giving Ozempic to kids, and your reasoning is because it'll help solve the issue of food deserts. No, those kids are still going to be in food deserts, and they're still going to only have access to shitty food, and they're not going to have access to this drug that you claim is meant for them to help them with the issue that they're facing. No. And anybody that can't see through that is a goddamn idiot. That really fired me up. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll come across an article or talk to somebody that, you know, will change my mind on this issue. But I mean, I just don't see it being at all productive in having a child. A child with diabetes probably feels different enough, right? Like, you remember when you had a kid in class that, like, had to take a medication in the middle of the day? So, like, around noon every day, they would have to get, like, called out to the nurse's office. And if you were like me, you'd be like, Why the fuck is he getting out? Where's he going? What is he taking? You know, they're probably taking Adderall or some bullshit. Whatever medication they need. Those kids felt different because assholes like me were like, where the fuck they going? No. And so now we're going to make kids feel even more different because they're shooting up before kindergarten, and then they get there and they're not eating their snack. And it's like, Jeremiah, why aren't you eating? Jeremiah, let's be real, it's going to be a female name. Katie, why aren't you eating your snack time? Oh, mommy shot me up, so I don't want chocolate pretzels anymore. Oh. Then they fall at recess and break their leg because they have no nutrition. I cannot. We're all going mad. We're all going crazy. And I haven't hit an hour, but you know what? It's 8:30 and I got to go to work and I have nothing else to talk to you about. So we're a short episode, but I think we covered a lot. I think it was good. I'm surprised I didn't talk more, but that's what I got. I hope you liked it. As always, like, subscribe, do the bullshit, and tell your friends. Guys, if you are listening to this podcast, that means we're probably friends. tell someone I don't know about it, or tell a mutual friend, hey, you know how Callie like is being really cringe posting about her podcast all the time? It's actually really good. You should give it a listen. Or if not, give it a listen, leave her a 5-star review. Do all those things because this is all I have. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you next Friday. Bye.